Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of 12 Days of OpenAI. In this video covering days 7 through 12. If you missed part 1, which I covered days 1 through 6, go ahead and check out that video. It'll be up here in this corner, down here, or down in the description. You'll find it. Go ahead and check that out. I cover all the updates from the first 6 days, which include Sora, Canvas, Apple Intelligence, and many more. Now, in this one, we're going to cover days 7 through 12, the second half. Today, we're going to learn about the improved search. We're going to learn about projects within OpenAI. And then there's this something called 1-800-ChatGPT. So if you're interested in this, let's head over to day number 7. All right, now for the day 7 update. And I think it's a pretty big one. It's going to be very powerful. ChatGPT now has projects. What's a project? Project, if you've used Claude at all, it's pretty similar to projects where you can organize your chat, you can upload files, custom instructions, and so that's what ChatGPT has now. The thing about projects is it's not just you have to upload a bunch of files and all these custom instructions and build this out. In a way, it's similar to GPTs, but more internal for yourself. Some of the key features are simplicity to allow you to organize your chats more. So at the lowest level, it's like a folder. You can upload files and custom instructions so that you tailor each of those chats to that specific conversation that you're wanting to have with ChatGPT. There are a couple limitations that you want to know. So first off, this is the help article for ChatGPT projects. It's going to talk to you all about it in here. I'm going to say what to do. So for example, here's a folder. You have a holiday planning party, and then you set custom instructions to always respond in a certain way. Just depending on how you want each chat to respond, you give it custom instructions. For example, in here, respond in Spanish, keep answers short and focused. You can add files. So the files are going to allow you to focus on that specific set of files, documents that you have. Maybe you're going through a course and you have a bunch of PDFs in there. You take those PDFs and put them into a project. Now you can interact directly with those files to learn that material. Or maybe you have a bunch of documents from your business that you want to upload so that you can get tailored and specific messaging for your ads, for funnels that you create, anything like that. Another limitation is when you have a chat in the project, you're only able to use GPT 4.0. So if you have a chat that you're wanting to use 01 for, you're not going to be able to use it within projects. Now you can move chats within projects. So if you already have a chat, you can move them in there, but then they're going to use the GPT 4.0 model. So if you already have one using 01, you may not want to move it into that folder. All right, so it's also the upload limit. There are upload limits for the files, 20 files per project. Now, each file that you upload can have the max size of 512 megabytes, which is actually pretty big, but still you are limited to up to 20 files. Now, what you can do, a little hot tip here, is say you have a bunch of documents that you have a bunch of small little documents, you combine them into one big document that you upload, then that'll give you room to upload more files. So in my ChatGPT here, just zoom in a little bit. All right, so you have projects on the side here. Now projects can only be created within the web app, but once you create them, when you're on your phone, on your iPad, or even the desktop app of ChatGPT, you can then use the projects. You just can't add more files or create new projects. So you have to create them from the desktop first, and then go to the specific apps. So I've created a couple here that I've been working with. Let's just create one and show you how it works. Click on new project here. Let's just say test learning. Learning. Let's create a project. And as I said, the very basic is chats organized. For example, say I had a bunch of different files here or different chats here that I've been working with, and I just want to use them in this project. So I can add a project and we can add it into here. So now that chat is going to be in here. So then when I click into this, I'm into that chat and it's within this document or this project. Also, you can drag documents or chats over. So if I were to take this and just drag it up to in the folder, that works well. You can drag them out. You can move them with click on the 3 dots here. And so now once I'm in here, I can create new chats. I can chat with these and they're all going to reference in files or custom instructions. If I don't, then it's just a way to organize my chats. So let's go ahead and add some files here to show you how that works. Click on the add file button, drag and drop. So I'm going to drag 20 of them in here. And then after that, we will interact with this. All right, so now we have these files uploaded. Now we have these 20 files in there. And we can also add in custom instructions. For example, in one of these, I added, where is it? So in here, I added the Tools of Titan book. For example, maybe in the custom instructions, I wanted to respond in a certain way. I'll put in some custom instructions here. Always respond in the same style and tone as Tim Ferriss. And when you teach something to me, respond using Pareto's principle, providing the 80-20 so that I can learn the most useful and actual information. You save this. Now, every time we create a new chat in here, we interact with this project, it is now going to respond using those instructions. So let's go ahead and start a new chat here and see how it works. So for example, I want to start implementing a morning routine. What are the benefits of having a morning routine? And let's see how it responds. See how it's searching the project files, giving information, finding out the best way to respond based on all the files that I've uploaded. All right, so we have here a morning routine is a great game changer. It sets a tone for your entire day, putting you in the driver's seat rather than reacting to life's chaos. Here's the 80-20 breakdown of the benefits. See, I didn't even put that in the prompt, but I put that in the custom instructions. As you see, it's showing where it's referencing each of the information that it's providing so that you have a reference point. And so that's how you use projects in here. You can go and rename it if you want. You can also, if you click up here, you can change the color. Maybe you want to make this one yellow. Now you have your organization of the colors and folders. If you delete a project, you can delete a project. Now, when you delete a project, it's not going to delete the chats. It will just move them out of the project or out of the folder. All right, so that is a rundown of GPT projects. Now let's move on to the day 8 update. And now for the day 8 update, the day 8 update is they've improved search within ChatGPT. So about a month ago, 2 months ago, they came out with ChatGPT able to search the internet. And while they had that in the past, then it came, then it went, but now they added it in about a month ago. And now they've actually done a lot more improvements to it. Plus, they've also added a Chrome extension, which might have been there before, but I didn't really like it. I'll show you why I didn't like it before. Let's actually take a look from the OpenAI website here. They have their Learn More button right here. So if we go down, this is introducing ChatGPT search. So there's been a lot of improvements to it. One big improvement I will show you is before you just search, all the resources and everything would be at the bottom. You have to scroll through and find it, but maybe there's a quick website you want to get to. I'll demo that and show you. But if you scroll down here and take a look, for the most part, you had to tell it to search, but now it will recognize if it needs to search the internet, it will search the internet. Designed to give you better answers, they made a lot of improvements to it. If you just ask about the weather, it gives a good update on showing what the current weather is. And then down here also it's going to list all the sources on the side. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what else. That's the most part, main benefits here that we'll see. Now let's actually go over and demo it. Oh, the other thing that they've added is now when you're in the advanced voice mode, it will also search the internet. You can have chat search the internet. The other thing is they've actually added chat now, or the search function now, for even the free plan. So if you're on the free plan of ChatGPT, you can still use you can search the internet, which is great. So over here, what I'm gonna do is you can either just click on search the web or it automatically will do it. I haven't really found a benefit of clicking the button or not clicking the button. I think here it'll give you maybe some trending things going on the internet. If you click on this, let's say you were to start searching for something, just like in Google, say we were typing, I don't know, NBA scores, it starts to give you suggested search results in here, just like a search engine does. That's the benefit you get there of clicking the search button. But you don't necessarily have to do that. Even if you have that off, I'm gonna put a prompt in here and say I'm wanting to decide on a social media scheduling tool. So here, help me decide which social media scheduling tool is the best. I want one that is cost effective, has great reviews, and AI built in. Provide the top 5, including positives and negatives of each one. Include breakdown and table format for easy visualization. All right, so I'm gonna leave this off here, the search off, which it's still gonna search anyways, and I'll show you that. So let's go ahead and enter that prompt. See how it says search in the web. A search breaking down all the top 5 social media scheduling tools. Now this one, I asked for a table breakdown, didn't actually give me that. We can say now provide to me in table format the top features. And so now it's going to break it down into table format so I can see more visually easier to see. If we look here, you have all the resources there, so you can see where it got the resources from. You can also come down to the bottom here and you click on sources, and it's going to list all the sources on the sidebar here, which is really cool. And you can just click into this and it's going to take you right to that link. So that's one great use case. You're trying to decide on different software or trying to compare different things. You can ask ChatGPT to compare it for you. But let's go ahead and test another. Let's go with the voice now. So let's start a new chat. Hey, Chuck, who was the highest scoring NBA team yesterday?
Yesterday, the Detroit Pistons scored the most points, defeating the Phoenix Suns 133 to 125.
And so we have that. Now, if we go ahead and check the actual score, see if that was the case, we do see down here the Pistons beat the Suns 133 to 125. So that worked, and that's great. That's actually really cool. Okay, now the other thing is there's the Chrome extension. So if we go over to OpenAI, if you click into that GPT search, you can click on the download Chrome extension. I also noticed earlier, if I clicked on a new chat here, it's not showing up now, but there was, probably because I already installed the extension, but if I was here starting to type something, there's a pop-up within ChatGPT that prompted me to install the Chrome extension. But you can do it that way. Probably can also do it in, oh yeah, you can just do it right here. Click on your profile picture, click on ChatGPT search extension. That'll take you here, and then you click on the button to add it. Now you have it added to your Chrome, and so every time you open a new tab and you go to search, it will by default search in ChatGPT. So I'm still playing around with this. I don't know if I fully like it for a couple reasons. There are some things that are great about it, some things I don't like, but I will say it is better than what I did try in the past with Perplexity. And for example, if I wanted to go, let's go back to this here, this one, the top social media tools. Say I was here looking at it, and instead of me click on the link to go to that one, but now maybe I wanted to look up this social bee. With the Chrome extension installed, I can click on a new tab and start typing in here, social bee. If I do that, say I just need to go to the website. I'm not really searching to find all this information out. Before the source, it'd be all the way at the bottom, so I have to let the chat finish out. Then I have to come in here to find that. But maybe I just wanted to go straight to the website because I know what it was, but maybe I didn't know the exact domain. A lot of times I would just do that in Google, type in the name of the website, and usually bring up the very first top search, or the very first result is usually just that website, something very simple. I click on it and go straight to the website instead of always typing in .com. Now, with the search function, it recognizes things like this, and it's going to provide the link right on top here. So then click on this and it'll take me right to that website. It is a little bit quicker now instead of having to get to the chat and then scroll all the way down the bottom or find it in here if I really just want to go straight to that website. So that's a pretty cool function there. And that way you can just open a tab and start asking questions, searching, and you're getting a lot quicker and faster search results using ChatGPT. Now, one more really cool thing is let's go ahead. They've also had a big improvement in the map function. So if we go back in here, this is showing help me plan a road trip, search. Where does it say? Oh, yeah, right here. It's going to talk about maps, stocks, sports, scores, all these other functions here. So let me actually show you the maps here, which is a pretty cool function. Let's start. Now let's do this. From a new tab, I'm going to type this in, say, so I want to go to a Italian restaurant tonight. I'm going to do Italian restaurants near me. It's going to search in ChatGPT, and it found where I'm at right now, which is correct. I'm in Wilton, California, and it has a map in here, similar to Google, but I think it's going to be better because you have this. You can zoom in, zoom around. You can look at the different restaurants. You can click on it, pretty similar to Google, but now you actually have a chat and you can interact. Because the other thing about Google is once you search, after that, there's no follow-up. You can't follow up and say, well, which one has, maybe you want to ask a certain question about it. So maybe I want to say, let's just say, which ones are open now? So we see here, this one is not open, it's closed. So this Frasnet's Winery probably shouldn't come up in the search results. Let's take a look. Nope. See, it doesn't show that. It only shows the ones that are open now. That's a great way that you can interact with the chat back and forth, which is something you can't do with Google. You have to go and do the search again and say ones that are open or look for each one. Again, click on sources here and see all the sources. So that's a rundown of ChatGPT search. I think it's going to be very powerful. Oh yeah, you can click on list here as well, and it'll list them out this way instead of on the map. Very similar, but anyways, you see that? So go ahead and enjoy the search function, and let's check out day number 9. All right, and now for day 9, they call it their holiday treats for developers. This was their mini dev day, a lot of developer updates. If we look at some of them here, OpenAI 01 and new tools for developers. So now you can use the full 01 model, which came out last week. You can now use that in the API. And there's also been some real-time API improvements, new fine-tuning method, and more for developers. So let's dive in here and just take a quick look at some of these. The more in-depth article, and if we go down here, again, so The O1 model is now available in your API. So if you're using make.com, Zapier, building your own custom apps in the background, you can now use the O1 model. What they have also done is there's been some 60% price reduction for audio and support for the 4.0 mini at the previous audio rates. There should be more apps coming out that have better voice and audio built in. But there's also now the ability to do the fine tuning within your API. So the fine tuning, again, that is when you're building your own AI within your software. So you're feeding a bunch of information, you're asking for an output, then you're giving it a score based on how it was. And so you're helping to improve your own model in a way. For the developers out there, may not have explained that the best, but in general, that's what it does. Then there's also, not really sure what the new Go and Java SDK are, but that's available in beta now, so you know that. Great. And we'll just hop down here, and they changed some of the prices, so 4.0 model is a little bit cheaper now. And then again, you have access to the full O1. Here's some benchmarks that they've shown for performance, and so you can look through a lot of the stuff here. They're breaking down some of the pricing. So that is the updates for day 9, which is the developer models. So all the developer updates for ChatGPT and OpenAI. Let's go ahead and head over to number 10. And now for day 10. This is the interesting one. I really didn't see this coming. So what they announced on day 10 is they announced what they're calling 1-800-ChatGPT. What that means is you can now call the number 1-800-ChatGPT and you can get answers, essentially talk to assistant like your voice mode on your phone or on your computer. You can also text the WhatsApp number 1-800-ChatGPT and get answers that way. They're maybe asking, why would I want to do that when I have my phone, I have the app? Their reasoning behind this is, say you're out somewhere and you don't have access to the internet, and maybe you're in a dead zone, so you don't have access to the internet, or you're running low on your data for your phone plan. So what you can do is, and if you still need answers, you can call in ChatGPT and you get answers that way. Also talking about mainly for overseas, but anybody can use it, is texting the WhatsApp number. You get real-time answers that way. So let's go ahead and test this out and see how that works. One, I'm using my phone to record now. So I'm going to go over into my little software here, and I'm going to have the contact in here, 1-800-242-8478, which is the ChatGPT number. Let's go ahead and call and see how this works.
Hello again. It's ChatGPT, an AI assistant. Our conversation may be reviewed for safety. How can I help you today?
So the power just went out at my house and I don't have internet right now. I was wanting to go get some dinner in Sacramento. Can you recommend a good Mexican restaurant for me?
Absolutely. Sacramento has some fantastic Mexican restaurants. Depending on where you are, you might want to try Zócalo for a more upscale vibe, or Chon Los Tacos for something more casual and authentic. Both are highly rated and delicious.
Great. Can you give me the address for the first one?
Sure thing. Zócalo is located at 1801 Capitol Avenue in Sacramento.
All right, so there we can just chat with ChatGPT right over the phone, which is pretty cool. Now let's also pull up WhatsApp and let's go and test that out. So I have here already added in there, just do a little testing with it. And so let me go ahead and just ask something here. Let's do, I don't know, something simple. How's the weather currently in Sacramento? And so this again is the same, that 1-800-ChatGPT. Sending out the message and access to real-time data. One thing here is this new voice calling feature and texting feature doesn't have access to the internet, but if you just need general answers on things as you would use ChatGPT in the past, then you go ahead and do that with WhatsApp. So that's pretty cool. You have WhatsApp and now you can call in if you don't have access to the internet. If your power's out at your house or you're on the road on a road trip and you're not in a area that has strong signal. So then you can call in and you can text. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the day 11. All right, next day 11 is working with apps. They released that a little bit ago, but now they've added a lot more functionality to it. And now ChatGPT, the desktop app, can now work with apps directly and read certain apps directly within, or that's on your computer. Originally, it was just Xcode and one other software, but now they've actually added a couple more in. So let me show you how that works. Now, this one, as opposed to their previous updates, you have to be in the desktop app, not on the desktop window. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over and I'm going to open up ChatGPT. Now, actually, before I do that, what you can do is if we say you're just on a screen, or let me pull up this notes here because this is what we're going to use. From here, what you can do is you can click on or use the keyboard shortcut option spacebar, and that's going to bring up this little window down here, which also with the desktop app, you don't have. Okay, so this is, let me start off, not including the app that we're talking about, or just in general, if you need to talk to ChatGPT, you can just do option spacebar and option space. And then now you have ChatGPT here. You can just quickly ask your questions. So that's how you can minimize your time and make things more efficient by just quickly getting ChatGPT anytime you're on your desktop computer without having to open the app, go and find it, find chat. You can just interact with it here. Now, yeah, so option space opens it, option space also closes it. And what we can do now, say we're working in the Apple Notes app. Some of the Apple Notes here, also with the text edit and a couple other apps too. But before we do this, let me head back over to ChatGPT. First thing we want to do now is go down to your settings, click on your profile on the bottom left, click on settings. And if we scroll down here, we can see working with apps. You're going to need to turn this on and enable it. When you turn that on, it's going to tell you which apps you can use here. So Notes, Script Editor, Terminal, and Text Edit. Those are the current ones that they have. Again, this is all still in beta. Feel free to test it out and work with it. Now, there's some other settings here. Pair apps automatically. And then there's also the toggle pairing. So on the Mac, it's going to be Shift Option 1. And that's going to immediately connect to the specific app you're working with. Let me show you how that works. Say I don't know, we'll just say I'm back here. Say I have my notes pulled up right here. I'm working on a note, text, document, one of those apps. What I can do is I can do Option Shift 1, and then it pulls us up here, and you can see it's automatically connected to this specific note. So now what I can do is, say I wanted to expand upon the second paragraph. So we'll type that in here. Can you expand on the second paragraph and add more details? And let's see what happens here. Certainly, here's an expanded version of the second paragraph, more details. The root of lovely sweaters, blah, blah, blah. Go down, Christmas. So it made this a lot longer, which is great because now I can copy this. I can come back here. I can copy this in, and I can come here. Let's go ahead and add that in. And now if we add that in, now we have our students. If I do on a Mac, you do Command Option Shift V, and then that will keep the formatting that's in there. We don't want that, but you get the picture. So I'll go back here, unbold it. Now let's see how they expanded on that, and we'll bring that back over here. But now you have your little window here that you can chat directly with your chat, and it knows what you're working with. Again, because I didn't give any details about the paragraph, but because it's connected to notes, it automatically was connected there. So this is going to be great for, say you're working in a document and you want to do quick edits and easily talk to ChatGPT. Also for developers out there that are running code, you can have your code program open. You can chat with it right now. It can read what you're saying on your screen and help with your productivity, as opposed to going in here, copying this, putting it back into here. Hey, can you rewrite this paragraph? Let me know and rewrite it. It's a couple extra steps. But now ChatGPT works directly within specific apps. And I'd imagine they're going to come out with a lot more. Eventually, we'll probably be able to control all of our computers and do every little thing that we want it to. Do we want to or not? It could be scary, but also could be positive. So that's how working with apps, just a brief overview of that. You can click on stop. You can also click on this little button over here. And this is also how you can get to the different apps. Because the Notes app is open, it shows right here. I just click on the plus, and now I'm working with that. If I had another app open, say I had text edit, we click on this, and actually going to open my text edit now. Let's just open this. Hopefully nothing crazy important down since on the computer. But now we have this here. Now it's working with both of them. So now I can work with both, and I can say, is this, or what is this code? That's it. What is this code? And it should give me an explanation of what it is. Yep, multiple versions, custom widget. Yep, so it's actually reading this over here, what's going on. I know what this is now. So that's how you can work with multiple apps at a time within ChatGPT. When you're done working with that, you can just click on the stop button, and now it's not connected to those apps anymore. So then you have full control over which apps it's talking to and working with. And with that being said, let's head over to the last day. All right, and now for the final day 12. Actually, I was kind of disappointed in this one. For me personally, I don't know, I thought it was going to be you think the last day would be a really big update, something huge, which I guess in a way it is. But their big announcement on this one, which is also not available but coming soon, so again, kind of disappointment. But their new one, then the big announcement was O3, a next model that they're coming out with, which I was like, okay, they just had O1. That was a big announcement on day one. Now they're having O3, another big model. Yeah, that's great advancements in AI, but it was kind of like, there's O1 and O1 Pro. Is this really that much better? I don't know. But the biggest thing was it's O3. But the other thing is, where's O2? I just skipped. Well, they mentioned in the presentation something about O2. They didn't want to, their friends over at some telecommunications company, maybe it's called O2. And I did a quick look up. It looks like there is something in Europe. So maybe they didn't want to step on their toes, calling it the same thing. I don't know. And then they said, oh, we're engineered. We'll come up with the best name. So we're calling it O3. Kind of funny. But what they have is they're coming out, and supposedly it's going to be the end of January, maybe February, some time frame. It's going to be their O3 model and O3 mini model, which is going to be even more powerful than O1 and O1 Pro. But that was, like I said, not out now, and didn't seem like that big of an announcement. But one thing this O3 model does, and the big thing now, as these LLMs, these AIs are getting smarter and smarter, there's also points where people are starting to find what's called like jailbreak ways to get the model to do something that's, say, illegal or bypass safety. And that's a big thing that they're doing. Their announcement wasn't this, not only with the model, but they're also requesting and getting a lot more help from people and developers for testing these capabilities. And what it shows here is, I'm not really sure what this means, but this was, say, a prompt that they put in. Here's the chain of thought explaining what this is. And then if we look down here, let's check the policy. The model T is looking at some policy for this request. It says operating a porn site might not be illegal, but the cops can't trace me. Maybe this is some code here is trying to, I don't know, get the model to do something that it's not supposed to. And so it's learning better now what is ethical, what's not ethical, what's illegal, what's not legal, to give the best answer. And I'm sorry I can't comply with that. Okay. All right, so this goes in more detail on that. This shows graph breakdown of prompts for humans and how, getting the answer, time, and safety. You can apply for the safety testing to help them out. And they said that O3 model will come out quicker if you apply for it, and more people are in there testing it out. It gives them more data. But what this shows their safety results using GPT-4o compared to Claude and Gemini. And if we look on this graph, what this is showing is, so the jailbreak performance, the way they explain it is more to the right and upper is better. So it's safer, which we see O1 preview and O1 here scored the highest. And we have Gemini the lowest for safety testing. And then you got Claude over here. So what this is showing is they're putting a lot of focus on safety, which is a good thing. That's a big thing that they're doing. If you want to be involved in the safety testing, over here you can click on early access for safety testing. They actually have an application you can fill out. They'll get you access to the O3, test it out, and you provide feedback and I guess try to do some of the jailbreaking or try to do legal activities, and you're going to help them out. So again, day 12 was not the biggest announcement for me. I thought it wasn't that exciting for me, but still something good. Just shows that OpenAI there's a lot that they're coming out with and what they're really focusing on. So with that being said, that concludes our 12 days of OpenAI. And there was actually a lot of really big updates on here, which is pretty awesome. Hope you're testing those out, learning some more things. And as always, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel here. I'm going to be producing a lot more AI videos. With that being said, have a wonderful day.